challenge game because he was being hit by two Smurfs. You know what he was doing? Smurfing.
I can't, oh my god, I can't! This started off with Necros and all of the other players making comments about the support role. Because it wasn't just him, it was other players as well. But much like people choosing to focus in on only things with Pirate Software and ignoring Yamada's death or on all the other factors that allowed the crash outs to happen, they focused on Necros and his comments about the support role. Then, with the comments of the support role, Necros said the comment that got everybody upset. This role is brain dead. It requires no skill. These players don't know how to play. Da-da-da-da-da. While being a Grandmaster Duelist dive player, probably quintessentially the best Spider-Man. An annoying dive character who has too much damage, too much survivability, and too much slipperiness to usually be dealt with. The same as the Tickle Monster and white, blue-eyed female number 4 amongst the Marvel Blondies. Then, after saying this comment, the entirety of most of the player base with common sense, whose names are willing to be put on it, said, "Ah, okay, that's what you think, huh? Interesting. Then, and this is the important part, the support vanished. Why is that? Some people say it's because of his comments. He just antagonized them, insulted him, and inflamed them to the point where they all left the game. Some probably stopped playing. I know I did. It's not fun playing ranked on stream, on camera, with people who are going to diligently not listen to the call, then blame me when they are dying because they are out of my reach. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. I can't see you, so I can't heal you. Some went to go play other games because pounding ranked, let alone pounding quick play, where all of the dive exists because the game was not balanced around pros. It's balanced around the casual player base. It has a bigger player base of casual players than ranked players. I went to go play something else because they're allowed to do that. Some probably just said, okay, let's see what happens. I'm going to be a part of something really funny, and stopped playing in protest. For reasons already explained on point number 1. But whatever the factors were that allowed it to cascade across entire elos and entire streams, people noticed that the healers, the dedicated support mains who deal with the bullshit, were not at the watering hole. And then finally, even if it was just for content, he said, alright already! I'll play the damn role. Faster than what you can say, what the hell he on, what the hell he kelter. Everyone has decided to pretend like they did not just constantly antagonize this man into playing a role that he would have to smurf on. Smurf, if we're going with their actual definition, since we just decided to make shit up. Smurfing does not mean you are just playing above your ranking. It means you're playing above your ranking in your role position. So if he is a Grandmaster dive player, but he doesn't have all of the skills to have the game sense to be across the board a Grandmaster player, or an Immortal player, whatever high-elo rank you're going to try and clickbait for, they then have him in these matches, playing the experience throughout the rankings, ranking up to what would be his proper rank. Because the entire point of smurfing is not just playing down your skill level, it is playing down your skill level with the intention of bullying lower players, since we just decided words don't fucking matter any goddamn more. We're going to pretend that we did not ask him to make the content where we see his behavior. And surely, to the beat of Holy Grail, as people have been yucking the fuck up making clips of his streams where he's getting in the situations that many of us have all been put into, or have experienced, and can be called the quintessential example of what you have to go through before you can truly call yourself a support player or a support main. You're telling me that there are players that are now sitting here for attention purposes, trying to mock other people and smug to other people about what we all asked him to do. People wanted to tell him, you think you're so easy, you play the role. He does that. He puts the example of the shit that people are seeing on camera, either by consequence of his game sense and therefore he is bad in it at times, or whatever. We're now going to pretend we did not ask him to do this content? Marvel Rivals is cooked. You guys are as bad as League of Legends. What are we doing? What was the goal of this practice? What are we trying to accomplish? I don't get it at this point. Is it directed at the guy that I'm stitching? Is it directed at the people who are leaving the dumbass comments? I don't know at this point. What is the goal? What is the goal? Do you want people to play this game? Y'all have to have goals and standards, and then you have to match them and hold them, okay? If we just want to flame Necros, just say we want to flame Necros because we don't like him and we hate him, and we wanted him to know what it felt like. Ha 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 ha. But if what we want to do is to teach people this is what happens when people don't have perspectives, then we gotta do that too. But we're just gonna pretend that when one is smurfing, they can also come across other players that are smurfing, thus making the experience harder. Oh, the reason why they're dying isn't just because your support is bad, but they are learning the role and they're also being targeted by players that are not supposed to be there in the ranking, who are grinding and fishing for content and clips to go viral on this platform, while at the same time basically fishing for content in the entire ecosystem. So everybody's the goddamn problem. At least those that are choosing to do exactly what I just described. Again, what are we here for? One of the most important things about playing video games on the internet is that it comes with a shared experience, right? If I do the same tactic inside of not Marvel Wilds, that would be an entirely different game, inside of Monster Hunter Wilds, to achieve a build, and I did so before March 10th, and I utilized the Nightflower Pollen, but all I ever did was collect exactly 100 and then spend them down and never have to do it again. There is an experience that they cannot speak to. In this case, with Marvel Rivals, probably one of the first games with non-forced role queue that allows people to learn how to play their role. And in Season 2, where Season 2 forces you to learn how to individually play better. Not just ranking up by being on a dominating team full of players that are shit-stomping, but you actually have to be better at your role independently. Otherwise, independently as a player, you do not become better and grow and change and rank. We, for some reason, have decided that we're all talking about different things now. At that point, I guess this is just what it's worth, I guess. Someone have to tell me, what are we doing? What's the goal? Is it all content? Is there no shared camaraderie or community amongst your game? It's just full of people who are just trying to clip to go viral? Because if that's the goal, throw the whole shit away. We don't need League 2. It's crazy. It's crazy. Because if we're reacting like this and acting like that on the content, and there are definitely plenty of conversations outside of this one stitch and this one video that have great variety. If this is the majority of what people think and how they behave and how they speak and how they think about it, throw it away. Find a new game. Go back to Repo, I guess. Wild.
And The Rock really insane then. And we're gold. I don't even think I'm utilizing. Easy plat. We end the day 21-2 with like a lot of MEPs. Look at this, just like a line of MEPs. GM3! We did it! Higher than 99.16 of all players. I am in the top 1%, bro. They said it couldn't be done. 49 and 11. 38 MVPs. This is all solo queue, by the way. All solo queue. GM is top 1%. It wasn't even top 10 at the end of season 1.5. Eternity was top 1% last season. So I'm technically an Eternity. I can pass off as an Eternity support.
We got a one-trick Spider-Man man calling us useless. Necros.
Who said? When did I say supports are useless? I'm gonna crash out.
Is it really based on that one clip?
It's literally an out of context season 1 clip. I will say, like, I did say the support is the easiest role, and I didn't say it in a nice way. Now, and you guys don't understand, I probably said that shit like coming heated out of a game, because this was in the peak of triple strat meta, right? Triple strategies. For some reason, they're saying that I said that the role is useless and that they're not important. I literally only said that the role is the easiest to play and that they have bad takes. And this was about a Reddit thread that we're calling Dive OP in season 1, bro. It's again an out of context clip of me just saying I hate support players. And this was before the Spider-Man buffs. It was right when Panther got nerfed. It was after the Iron Fist. Like, every dive character got fucking gutted in season 1.
Sounds of diamond pistols.
And this goes along with the last thing I fucking said. I might as well just make this a series at this point. It's also ironic I saw these videos out of order. Still came to the exact conclusion I thought it was going to be. It clearly doesn't matter what the man does. And it clearly doesn't matter to those who want to criticize him badly what he does to demonstrate his point. They're never concerned with establishing a point or a fact or trying to get to a measure of order to understand each other and explain, listen, the game can be difficult, the game can be hard, and as long as we're able to learn something, we can be able to establish that he didn't understand what he was saying. That's clearly not what's being communicated, and that's clearly not what the majority of people want to say, and it's clearly not what this particular content creator wants to focus on, especially considering the comments that they're liking and the general opinion people are supposedly coming away with as the granular form of all the things they're concerned with. I'm not finna be like Sir Fear and say grown man, grown man, grown man, because we're clearly talking about things that bother you enough for them to be necessary. So let's skip that point, but let's talk about the actual issue. If he wanted to prove a point, he'd play on his main when he'd play top 500, but he won't. Ignoring the fact that the content was put together by Necros, the challenge we, the player base, as a whole, or as far as the whole community will be, issued to him was, oh, you think it's so easy? Then you play the account. And usually, when you're demonstrating the point of climbing, you're doing so from the position of showing them the bottom to the top. You can't do that without smurfing. Because if he was playing support, then switched to Spider-Man, none of you would have anything to say. Because, well, we know that he knows what he's talking about. Because in the alternate reality where he was a support name first, then he gets on to Spider-Man, he explains the ins and the outs and the whats. And maybe that's what people wanted. Maybe what people wanted was a breakdown list and a cheat sheet, more than the cheat sheets you people are getting from going post-ale. Perhaps that's what you wanted. Perhaps you wanted a quas in the support role. You wanted somebody to break it down to you. Every Vanguard, every support, every diver, every off support that is classified as a duelist, and just teach every single role in the game. Perhaps that's what people wanted, but that's not how they're acting. In order for him to do what he wants to do, which is to show his points, or even attempt to learn, raw and fresh, he has to start from bronze, then climb up the ladder. So far, bronze to plat. People are still whining, still crying, still complaining, still sending hate, still speaking hate, and then telling other people what the actual goal is. Assumptively, if the post is about the people that are behind Necros and have the mindset of Necros where you're only doing it so you can justify being a hater. Okay, you guys are doing this shit to justify being a hater. I said what I said! If what we're trying to do is understand each other, perhaps, dear sirs and madams, I posit to you the following query. Perhaps, when you get to his level in your roles, should they be the off-tank, the main Vanguard, or the dedicated frontline, backline, and midline diving healers, of which there's technically only 3, and technically past that there's only 2, one of which is Cloak and Dagger. Perhaps, when we are able to understand the game to the point where it's solved, people will stop hating on each other. Perhaps they will reach a point where the discourse back and forth will not be constant antagonization against each other, and rather will be for those that are definitely not putting in the work, who we can name and shame, as an example of, here's this person selling the match, despite being top ratio, and they're doing so on an off account. There have been plenty of cases of that in Overwatch. Hell, I've broken stories on them on my main channel, where people have demonstrated as doing such, while then going out and saying, oh my god, pride events, but they're talking like a sailor on their live stream. That's not what's happening here. It's just people being overly opinionated, just like every other drama event. But they're being petty too, because what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. Because suddenly, it's acceptable to attack a person just because they don't like what they said. So we suspend all rights and all civility, and we just go ranting. What happens when we look into your feed, when we look into your content? Oh, no, you can't talk to me, I don't play ranked. So why are we talking then? Or, they do play ranked. Well, I know I'm better than him. Okay, face him in a match and win. Record it. It'll be great content. You obviously know you're better than him. So take his lunch money. As an actual professional player, I don't know what to say to some people. But, it's the he won't face them on his account. My brother in Christ. Are we serious? Is that the argument we want to go with? He won't play it on his main account, so it doesn't matter. On his main account, he is going to be the dedicated fighter because he's playing at a ratio where everybody knows everybody. Let's just forget the people who are known on the platform, right? Let's forget the people who are propagating their content on TikTok. And they are both good, and they are viral, and thus you know who they are. Entire blank team full of random players plus Necros. In that team of people, if we're going to do what people actually do, they're going to stat spy. They're going to look up who is what, and they're going to start doing the same thing that already happens in every other game that has a stat spy system that looks at the API. Do you know what that is? They're going to look at their stats and say, why are you playing this role? You play Vanguard. Why are you trying to play this role? You play Duelist. Why are you trying to play this frontline duelist like Mr. Fantastic? You play Divers. It'll be the exact same problem. You all want to say that you justify doing what you want to do so you can make people feel bad as he's smurfing. You guys are doing the exact same thing in the other direction. You say toxic main players, toxic streamers, toxic casuals. Responsibility does not exist here, apparently. If nothing else, we gotta decide, like I said last time, what are we here for? What are we here for? Are we trying to learn the game? Or are we flaming people and exacting revenge on them? Like most of the internet tried to exact revenge on Pirate Software for the crime of sounding as he does during OnlyFans, while not doing any of the research and just simply going off of vibes and virality, because going with the popular opinion got you likes. Make it make sense! Make it make sense!